Welcome to the map reading Christmas quiz for 2025. Questions will be on the screen for about 10 seconds and the maps will be on the screen for 30 seconds. There's 12 in total with a bonus question, so keep an eye out for a common theme throughout all 12 maps. you've made it to the end of the quiz, well done. Now let's go through some of the answers. Question 1. What can be found at grid reference TQ 201199? So this is the screen you were given, and whenever we give a grid reference, we go along the corridor before we go up the stairs. Or another way of remembering it is we go east before we go north. E comes before N in the alphabet. So we're using the numbers along the top before we use the numbers up the side. And on this occasion, 201199 is this circle here. And when we look at the legend, it shows us that this is actually a mast. So the answer is mast. Question 2. On the following map, what named feature can also be found on the Pennine Way, just north of Edale, and also on the coastline at Sidmouth? So here's the map you were given, and the sharp-eyed ones of you might have spotted this little feature here, Jacob's Ladder. And if we look at a map of just north of Edale, 2.5 miles into the Pennine Way, you've got another Jacob's Ladder, and then we look at the map at Sidmouth, and then we've got Jacob's Ladder on the coastline there. So the answer is Jacob's Ladder. Question 3. How many different colours are represented in the place names on this map? And the first colour that stands out is white. We've got white oak moss. Right at the top we've got white oak beck. And the sharp-eyed ones of you might have seen red gill down at the bottom here. And then we've got black beck over to the right here. So the answers are white, red and black. Question 4. What word connects church, hale and jury? And this is the map you were given. If you look top left, you've got church farm, bottom left, hale farm, and over to the right here, you've got jury farm. So the word that connects all three is farm. They're all farms on this map. Question 5. What's the height difference between the two trig points? So a trig point is another word for triangulation pillar. And on the legend, it's a little blue triangle with a dot in the middle. And on this map, we've got two trig points. The first one is here at 321 metres above sea level. And the second one is over at Oxstones. Some people might have gone for the 421 height. However, if you look closely, we zoom in on the map, there's a little dot. And that is actually a spot height, 421. Which means that the trig point at Oxstones is actually 419. So the difference is actually 98 metres. Question 6. On the following map, how many places of worship can you find? And if we look at the map legend, there's actually 3 symbols that show a place of worship. The first one is this little cross here. That's just a general place of worship. And the second one is this symbol here. And that's a place of worship with a tower. And then the third symbol is this one here. And that shows a place of worship with a spire, a minaret or a dome. So we're actually looking for 3 symbols on this map. A little bit of a tough one, but if you look closely, there's actually 16 places of worship on this map. So the answer is 16. Question 7. On the following map, what is the highest survey height that's measured from the ground? On an Ordnance Survey map, you've got numbers dotted all over the map. And these are basically spot heights. And these are basically measured from the ground or from the air. If they're measured from the ground, they're in black. If they're measured from the air, they're in brown. So what we're looking for on this map is a spot height in black. And if we look at the top left hand side, we've got this 107, 107 metres is the answer. Question 8. On the following map, when heading northeast from Bullcrag to Horsegate, do you follow the green dotted line or the smaller black dotted line, and why? So here's the green dotted line, and on the map legend it's shown as a public right-of-way footpath. And here's the black dotted line, and on the legend it's shown as simply a footpath. So the green dotted line is a public right-of-way. That means you're allowed to walk that route. However, if you look closely, there's no actual footpath where the green dotted line is. The actual footpath is where the black dotted line is. And if you were to follow the green dotted line, you're going to come across 3 crag features, which could get you into some difficulty. So the answer is follow the footpath that's actually on the ground, i.e. the black dotted line, and ignore the green dotted line. It's simply a right of way. Question 9. On the following map, what do the 3 blue tourist and leisure symbols mean? And these are the 3 symbols that we're looking at. If we look at the legend, it shows that the one at the top left is a public house. The one in the middle is an English heritage site. and the one on the right is a preserved railway. Question 10. On the following map and photograph, where on the map would I find the large white stone? So the large white stone in the photograph is actually called the Bishop. So this photograph's taken on the slopes of Bath, which is one of the 214 Wainwrights in the Lake District. And it's looking over the Bishop towards the bottom end of Bassenthwaite Lake. And that can be a general knowledge pub quiz question, is what is the only lake in the Lake District? And that's Bassenthwaite Lake. All the others are meres or waters. Question 11. On the following map, how many non-Roman historical sites can you find? And if we look at the map legend under archaeological and historical information, we can see that the non-Roman font is completely different to everything else on this map. So we're basically looking for that font on this map. And if you've got them all, you should have a total of 13. Finally, question 12. On the following map, what do the three purple symbols mean? And these are the three symbols that we're looking at. The one on the left is a National Trust for Scotland, which is always open. The one at the bottom is National Trust for Scotland with limited access. And then the one at the top is Forestry Commission land, and that's normally open. And the bonus question, what well-known Christmas carol is hidden in all these maps? And the answer is, of course, the 12 Days of Christmas. If we look at the locations on each map, question 1 was at Partridge Green, i.e. a partridge in a pear tree. Number 2 was at Dovedale, i.e. 2 turtle doves. Question 3 was Hen Combe, at 3 French hens. Question 4, Birdham, as in 4 calling birds. Number 5 was Ringing Low, and that's 5 gold rings. Number 6 was at Ghost Green, 6 geese a laying. Number 7 was at Swansea, 7 swans a swimming. Number 8 was at Maiden Moor, 8 maids a milking. Number 9 was 9 ladies, 9 ladies dancing. Number 10 was at Lord's Seat, 10 lords a leaping. Number 11 was at Piper Hill, as in 11 pipers piping. And finally, number 12 was at Drum Castle, i.e. 12 drummers drumming. So if you've made it all the way to the end, thank you very much for watching and having a go. If you didn't do as good as you thought, then maybe have a look at our website and book onto one of our navigation courses. And I'll also be interested to know what score you got, so if you could put some in the comments, that would be appreciated. Have a very good Christmas and a very good New Year.